Thank you, Tyler. I'm Reiko, so I teach piano and chamber. As he said, so I have a piano trio called Horshowski Trio, named after my old teacher. Um, Mieczysław Horszowski, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he was a Polish pianist. He was born in 1892. When I met him, he was 96 years old, and I was 14. It was at Curtis Institute, but I got to study with him for 4 years. And what was great about him was as a pianist, whenever he performed, um, his sound had a soul, and he was such a sincere musician, um, that it was not about him. It was always about the composer, and that's something very important for me to remember even today. Of course, we need to express ourselves, through the piano, but we can never forget respect to the composers. There's one thing I'd like to suggest. Okay. It's you press the pedal, second beat. It's a very subtle thing, but when you press the pedal, obviously the whole instrument, the strings and everything is more ringing, right? In that way, it's easier for us to hear that there is the tight moment, but a strong tight moment. That it's not just sound is decaying. Okay. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Try that, and then you don't need to play those eighth notes too loudly. Okay. Think of that everything's coming out of the first beat. Different violin, they will use just one bow. They will never change. Yeah, so try to imagine with that flow. I think what happened was that maybe you wanted to bring the contrast from the first movement, so you wanted to feel more vertical. You're doing that almost too much now. So try to think a little deeper sound.
Okay. So, about the pedal,
Yeah.
I do like the first and second. I change on the first and second for each bar. Is that what?
I personally don't.
Oh.
I press only the second beat.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
And try to listen your own sound a little bit carefully if you can hear the difference.
Yeah, I think I hear like there's a more I don't know how to say it, but it carries on longer.
Yes, it opens up, right? So everything happens very quickly, but I want you to know that you could do something like that, not only in this piece, but other pieces too. When you want to sustain something and there's a strong moment, you can press the pedal that moment. Doesn't need to be always the beginning of the harmony changes.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Good. And then naturally, if you press the pedal in the middle, then from the high note to the next eighth note, it will be more connected too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Try yeah, one more time from the beginning. Very good. There's a moment when you have a piano unison, right? There, I felt like your intensity went away because it says piano. You can just think about it, even in the string quartet or the orchestra music. Whenever you hear unisons, which means when every instrument is playing the same note together, like a famous one would be what, the Fifth Symphony, da 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 da. They're playing all the same notes, right? So in a way, when a bunch of people playing the same notes, that's the moment composer um, wants to express something very strong, something special, as like everyone is united there. That kind of feelings.
Okay.
Yeah. So even though you have piano there, in a way your intensity should be more there.
Okay.
Yeah, that everybody meets there. So and then maybe right before that your second violin is a little bit too loud. I felt like your second violin was covering the first violinist.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you want to try from? Very nice. Good. So here, that's the moment I would say, yeah, definitely brass instruments will be there, right? Can you play just left hand there? When you play only left hand, you phrase it very nicely. Yeah. So can you keep feeling, maybe you can think of your right hand is inside of your brass section.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, left hand will be inside of your right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, try to reverse that. Very nice, very nice. And you did a beautiful color change, the C major chord. That was beautiful. From there, in general, in this section, I think you can do more legato.
Okay.
Probably all the string players, they don't even need to change the balls so much, so everything will be much more smooth, right? Um, so now, as a contrast, let's go to the first movement.
Okay.
Okay, so this opening is so pianistic that you cannot think of any other instruments, right? Yeah,
Um,
so this is the moment you can really enjoy our instrument. And I think you're doing a nice job here. Okay, so in the beginning, even just looking at the first line, is there any moment, something a little bit special?
um,
Where's the first special moment you find?
I think like when the first small phrase ends here, and then it starts again. Maybe it starts again in like the second small phrase.
Right.
So like measure
That's the
four.
structure of the phrasing, right? Okay. So, but what about um the moment? Where where is that exact moment you find something a little bit unexpected?
Does your first line go up to the adagio?
No, but did you have a bar number or maybe just a beginning that you can count the bars?
Okay. Um,
Or you can play. Which moment do you find it something a little bit unexpected?
um, I'd say unexpected, maybe right before the adagio. Um, yeah. Like measure 8 to 9, kind of. I think.
Like right before forte. Okay, so this is one thing I would like to mention. So maybe it's the same thing for you too, because you've been working on this piece for a long time, and then you know it so well that somehow you kind of um, make it sound too much like you know where it's going. For me, so when you hear it, line is going down, right? Same thing, right hand too. Then going down. Next phrase, again going down? No. For me, it's a very small thing, but when I hear that moment, suddenly more uplifting. Oh, then where does it go? Even higher, right? And then very bright. Then where does it go? Typical Beethoven. Suddenly diminish.
Uh-huh.
No more joy anymore, right? So I feel like even when you arrive there, I want you to bring something a little bit special.
Okay.
So it's a very small moment, but it's like you're walking outside, and then I want you to notice some little thing. Ah, here is a nice flower. Instead of just looking at it, I know where I need to go.